I had always thought of the farm as ours. My childhood was spent running through its fields, the smell of fresh hay lingering in my memory, and the laughter of summer days echoing through its barns. But when I married her, the woman I loved more than life itself, everything changed. At first, she admired the farm, marveled at its acres of green, and pretended to care for the chickens and the gardens. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, she began to assert herself. It started with small things: "We need to modernize this," she'd say, or "I don't like how untidy the barn is." I thought I could accommodate her, that marriage meant compromise. Then came the day she forbade me from entering the farm alone. "It's my space now," she said sharply, her eyes cold, unlike the warmth I remembered when we first fell in love. "I don't want you here unless I'm with you." I was stunned, but I didn't argue. I thought maybe she needed time to adjust, maybe she was asserting control because of some hidden insecurity. But as months turned into years, her restrictions tightened. I could no longer step foot on my own property without her knowing, without her permission. My parents had given me this land, my ancestors had tended it. Yet I became a stranger in my own home. During this period, she grew distant in ways that hurt far deeper than her control over the farm. Late nights at work functions, trips she claimed were business-related, phone calls that she would answer in another room and hang up when I entered. I tried to trust her, tried to believe the love that had once burned so brightly, but a gnawing suspicion aided me. And yet, I stayed. Then came the day she was gone. "A car accident," they said. The world blurred around me. I went numb, feeling both grief and a strange, hollow relief. Finally, the farm was mine again, or so I thought. It was at her lawyer's office, surrounded by papers and the scent of polished oak, that the truth began to unravel. "I have something to show you," he said, a carefully measured pause stretching between us. "Something your wife left in her will, but it's complicated." My stomach sank. Complicated usually meant disaster. He handed me a thick envelope, heavy with secrecy. Inside were documents, letters, photographs, evidence that made my blood run cold. She had never loved me the way I loved her. The farm wasn't just a property to her, it was leverage, a pawn in a game I hadn't realized I was playing. Letters revealed affairs with men I had known casually, men I had trusted. Men she had met at those late-night business trips she claimed were for work. One name stood out in stark, bold handwriting: Mark Whitman, a friend from college. My heart pounded as I read, the betrayal settling like ice in my chest. Then came the photographs, images of her in the farmhouse at night, Mark by her side, intimate and careless. Not once, not twice, but over months, even years. She had orchestrated this, carefully hiding her tracks while I obeyed her every rule, believing her love was genuine. Every restriction, every ban from the farm, every cold word, it had been a tool to control me, to isolate me from my heritage while she pursued her secret life. I couldn't breathe. My grief collided with rage. The farm, the fields, the barns, they were all mine, yet I felt like a stranger. I should have seen it, I should have known, but love had blinded me. And she had used it, manipulating me like a puppet. The lawyer continued. "There's one more thing," he said quietly, sliding another folder across the desk. My hand shook as I opened it. Inside were financial documents showing that she had transferred significant portions of the farm's profits, even some parcels of land, to accounts under Mark's name. Not only had she betrayed me emotionally, but she had also conspired to take my family's legacy and hand it to another man. Every moment I had spent feeling powerless on the farm, every argument, every restriction, it was part of her plan. I left the lawyer's office in a daze, driving slowly down the country road toward the farm. The fields stretched before me, green and quiet, yet tainted now by memories of deceit. I stepped out of the car and walked toward the barn. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying the faint scent of hay and earth. For years, this place had been my sanctuary. For years, I had been denied it. And now, the truth of her betrayal hung over it like a shadow I couldn't shake. I wandered through the farmhouse, touching the walls she had once decorated with love, or at least what I thought was love. Her laughter still echoed in my mind, but now it was twisted with lies. I opened drawers, found letters addressed to Mark, receipts from trips that never happened, and little tokens of a life she had built behind my back. I felt as though the walls themselves were mocking me, revealing a secret world I had never been allowed to enter. As the sun dipped behind the horizon, I walked out to the main field. The wind carried the sound of rustling grass, a sound that had always calmed me. I realized then that I had a choice. I could let her betrayal destroy me, let anger and grief consume every memory I had of the farm, or I could reclaim it, not for her, not for Mark, but for myself. This land had belonged to my family long before her schemes, and it would belong to me long after. In the end, I decided to fight not against her, for she was gone, nor against Mark, who had his own life to answer for, but against the betrayal itself. I would restore the farm, tend to it with the love and care it deserved, and reclaim the pieces of my life she had tried to steal. The wounds would heal slowly, the scars would remain, but I would stand tall in the field that was mine. And as night fell, I looked up at the stars, thinking of her final secret, her ultimate betrayal. The farm, once a symbol of love and shared dreams, had been a battlefield of deceit. But now, with the lawyer's revelation, I understood everything. I was free from her lies, and though it had taken her death to reveal the truth, I would finally live my life without her shadow. The farm belonged to me again, not just in name, but in spirit. And as I walked among the fields, feeling the soil under my feet, I vowed that her betrayal would never dictate the rest of my life. The truth had shattered me, yes, but it had also set me free.